All right, welcome everyone to Politically Unhinged. As always, I am your host, Unhinged Tony. With me today is Young Patriot and Polish Millennial. We are going to be breaking down the election results. Well, so, as you guys know, it's honestly, it doesn't look good for us. So we were literally just talking about this offline in the Discord. Uh, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out the Discord yet, make sure that you join my community, and I will be sending the link over there on Instagram. Now, let's get your guys' perspectives on this. How do you think this is for the state of the country right now?
I'm gonna let Patriot go first.
Well, state of the country. I'm very much worried about our chances of maintaining control of the House. Honestly, I'm even somewhat worried about us controlling the Senate after these results. Okay, maybe not that. Maybe I'm going too reactionary there. But New Jersey is in particularly a concern, right? The polling data showed us that this was going to be a tight race. It showed us that this would be a race within five percentage points. In fact, I predicted it would be within 3. The polling data actually had it at D+2, I think, D+3 maybe. And last election cycle, it had it as D+8, and it ended up being D+2. So it was a 6-point margin of error in favor of the Democrats, right? So you look at that data, and then you look at the polling data of 2025, nothing convinced you that this would be some blowout victory for Abigail or for Cheryl. What's her first name? I forgot her first name.
Mikey.
Yeah. I said Abigail. That's in Virginia.
Stamberger in Virginia.
Yeah, Stamberger. But the point being is that this election is particularly concerning about the state of our country because I don't know what our chances are looking like in the future electoral challenges for us. And if you look at in New York, Mamdani, it's officially been called that Zohran Mamdani, a democratic socialist, a communist, is going to be the executive of the biggest city in this country. And while long term, I do wonder if that's actually potentially going to be a good thing for the Republican Party, potentially going to be a good thing for the conservative movement, bringing in more rational, moderate voters. It could be that, or it could be something detrimental. It could shift the Overton window back over to the left because it shifted back to the right in 2024. If the Democrats are supporting outright communists, that could very much move the Overton window dramatically in the other direction. That's really my 2 cents to start off. I don't want to crash out yet. I imagine once we get more into New Jersey that the Jersey guy here, Gage, is not going to be happy. Oh, sorry, I didn't know if I was supposed to say your real name. My bad.
That's all right. No, I'm actually I'm hairline crashing out right now. The only thing keeping me alive is caffeine. I will say this though, the state of the country is very bleak because these last 4 election cycles are showing that polling doesn't mean jack anymore. Polling has been relegated to the past, and now it's just a flip of a coin of what's going to happen on election day, right? Because if we think back all the way back to 2016, the polls had Clinton swamping Trump, right? And then Trump won in a damn near landslide, right? And then that was the beginning of the end of pollsters. And then afterwards, you had this last election cycle, right, with Biden and Trump. Trump was favored to win, right? And then Trump lost narrowly, but lost. And then this past one with the 2024 election cycle, and they had Kamala winning by what, 7%? And so this is just goes to show you that polling is completely gone. It's done. There's no fixing it. The only like accurate polling we're gonna be able to have now is like exit polling, and that's if companies are actually doing the exit polling, right? Otherwise, it's just we're just guesstimating what's going on here, which is really concerning, especially for Politically Unhinged's line of work, because that's all he deals with is polling. And we have a big problem here is that, and what I think is also really showcasing the amount of propaganda that is being thrown in the average American's face right now, is that the Fox News polling for New Jersey have it at 71% exit polling that the only reason that they voted for Cheryl was to stick it to Trump. So for one of the first times in American history, a president's backing is actually hurting the candidate. And so we have the Overton window is like all over the place right now, right?
Yep.
And
1 second it's far right, 1 second it's far left.
yeah,
And I would like to say another issue though with tonight. We've known this issue for quite some time. 2022 should have been, the day that everyone knew this was an issue. We are the party of low propensity voters. We are the party that needs to get turnout up. If there's higher, it used to be if there's higher turnout, Democrats are winning. Now, if there's higher turnout, Republicans are winning. That's what it's going to mean nowadays. And if you look at this 2025 election, turnout was low. No surprise, it's an off-year election. It's always low. But this is particularly a concern because the only person who seems to speak to this group of voters, these low propensity, blue collar, working class, white and Hispanic voters, is Donald Trump. Donald Trump can't run anymore. Who is going to step up and who is going to spread the populist conservative message? And you may have your issues with populism, and that's okay. But we're going to have to accept the fact that we have to embrace aspects of populism if we want to win.
Yeah, I mean, the days of good old conservatism and good old classical liberalism has died, right? We saw that die in the 2008 election with Obama because Obama was an actual left-wing populist. He's literally word for word. If you just flip him red, it sounds like Trump today, right? And minus like the healthcare stuff, but we have a bigger problem on our hands because we can't solidify a base now, right? Even if you're doing populism, even if you're doing conservatism, even if you're doing liberal or democratic socialism, your base is always shifting. There's no more set bases. And now you have the crypt keeper, Nancy Pelosi, not seeking re-election. So that's an end of an era right there. And so pretty soon you're going to see the old guard either die off or just say, I'm too old to do this now. And now you're going to have the AOC types coming in, and you're going to have the Matt Gaetz types coming in, and then it's just going to be all over the place.
Well, I mean, you mentioned Nancy Pelosi retiring. Whether she retires or not, I think it's safe to say with Zohran Mamdani being the mayor of New York City, I think it's rather evident that the Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer days of that party is done.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not defending Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi's legacies at all. They have been a cancer cell to this country, in my personal opinion. However, I'll take like Trump said in the 60-minute interview, if any of you watched that recently, I'll take a bad Democrat, a bad, neoliberal Democrat over a communist. And in New York City, a literal Marxist, someone who has tweeted with #communist on numerous occasions, was just elected.
Yeah, what were you doing with that, Tony?
Yeah, what were you doing?
I was playing around with it. I was like, you know what? Let me see how this view works, and that was fucking awful.
Yeah, let's not do that again. That's a good view. That's a good view if you're doing it on the phone.
Yeah, good view that you're doing it on the phone and when you got two people. That view was so fucking horrendous. It was like Democrat governance. Like, holy shit.
We should have been like this, like a movie theater. Anyway, no, like we have people. Oh, if you look at our Congress, you see dead people. But anyway, we
got New York voters and New Jersey voters, dead people.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of dead people, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a cylindrical metal object upstairs that's calling my name later tonight. If the lead with Mikey Sherrill and Chitterelli keeps widening, I'm gonna crash out about this situation. Though I will say though, the mass exodus that's going to be coming out of the Northeast is going to be biblical, right? I predict within 5 years, Wall Street's going to be completely out of New York, right? Because Mondami, he's in. There's nothing they can do to get rid of him, right? I mean, short of denaturalizing him and Trump literally just arresting him, or the feds arresting him, whoever does it, they're not going to get rid of him, right? He's going to be a thorn in the side of every Democrat in New York now. And so with him being mayor, he's going to, I mean, the market cap just saw 730 billion wiped from it, right? That's all the rich people saying, oh shit, and getting out of New York and planning to get out, right? There was a poll / prediction a few days ago that if Mondami had won, over 1 million people are going to be leaving New York City. That is going to be all the wealth leaving New York City, guaranteed.
100%.
So New York City's going to be screwed there with the taxes. So the only way Mondami's even going to be able to do anything. Well, by the way, newsflash, he can't do anything that he's promising to do. But if he's going to do it, he's going to have to raise taxes on already really poor people. That's not going to work out. And then with Cheryl's already going to cause an exodus because she's going to raise energy prices again. She's going to raise property taxes again. And New Jerseyans are just retarded. Sorry. We're retarded. There's no good reason to have voted for Cheryl. Done whatsoever.
No, you're 100% correct. There's no reason to go ahead and vote for Cheryl. Look, even with, I'm going to say this, is if the Republicans were smart, we would have gone ahead and we would have had our party endorse Cuomo in New York. Period. And then, throw our fucking funding to New Jersey and in Virginia. But the problem is with Virginia, Sears was an awful fucking candidate.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, she would have been the first Black female to ever be elected governor across any state in this country. Now, that's not highlighted, of course. They're not going to mention that on legacy media because she's a conservative, she's a Republican. So breaking a glass ceiling only matters if you're, a Democrat in this country. But anyway,
we should play the racism game on TikTok for the next few days just to fuck with them.
But
we really should.
Point being, though, is that, yeah, she was a bad candidate. To be fair, she wasn't really the best lieutenant governor candidate. In fact, I think honestly that from the beginning I was saying that, if I remember correctly. I mean, yeah, it's don't get me wrong, it's exciting when you think about things like, oh yeah, we'll have people on the right breaking glass ceilings and stuff, but let's not be like the left. I'm not saying that they nominated her because of that. That's not what I'm implying. But if it was, let's not do that. We need to pick someone who has the best chance at being elected. Because at the end of the day, I will take as much as I don't like them, I will take a moderate old guard Republican long before I'm taking Abigail Stamberger in Virginia. Right. Yeah. And I was just looking back at these results in New Jersey, and guys, it's not looking any better. The lead is 13.3%, 83% of the vote.
You just want me to die on stream, don't you?
That's what
you're intending to do. No, this whole situation with Cheryl and Cheddarelli is really disheartening for someone that lives in the state. Right. I am going to be amongst the people that are going to be mass exiting out of New Jersey soon for this simple, you just can't afford the state. The state is not pro blue collar in any way, shape, or form. They are driving middle class out in mass, but instead, we're going to build massive amounts of skyscrapers in Newark and Trenton to boost the population. But there's no jobs here. Everyone's going to New York to work and then coming here and living here. It's the age-old tale of New Jersey. And instead of being the Garden State, we're quickly becoming the warehouse state, which is something that Cheryl supports. So it's stupid. It's stupid.
To be honest, Cheryl's a fucking terrible candidate in every way. She's even worse than your average Democrat. She's fucking awful, dude.
Absolutely. She's Mondami light.
I mean, yeah,
If you-
really, she is. She's very fucking far left, dude. She doesn't even hide it.
Yeah.
Well, with everything that's going on, this tells you how these people ran their campaigns, though, too. I don't know what polling that they had during this entire thing, whether it was showing them that they were up on their side or not. That's the thing that I tell my candidates is that you don't want to trust the polling, because what's going to happen is we're going to hire people and they're going to tell us exactly what we want to hear.
Yep.
You want to go ahead and just assume that you're always down by 5 points.
Always.
Yeah,
Always.
Virginia looks pretty concerning too, given that the polling data had it at around D plus 10, and it's on pace to be D plus 15. So
Here's the thing with Virginia. All right, I lived there for about a year.
dude, not a single county is voting to the right of 2024 in Virginia. Not a single county.
Yeah, so they're not going to vote to the right, because the thing is with the Virginia, a lot of their mentality is that they cannot go ahead and overcome Nova. They can't. That's their mentality when it comes to voting.
In fact, the metro areas are who swung most particularly to the left.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's exactly it.
In
They will
Loudoun
go
County,
ahead.
it shifted 12 points to the left.
Yeah.
County
Yeah.
Harris got less than 60% in. Spanberger is getting 65% to Sears is 35%. I mean, just a total sweep and ass whipping.
No, this is why Virginia's, like I said, I told you guys in the Discord not too long ago of that, how fucking ridiculous it is. So in Maryland, like I told you guys, is they were encouraging us to go door knock in Virginia.
Fucking ridiculous.
When you're getting people from your surrounding states to door knock, like to volunteer, that is the biggest red fucking flag ever.
Yeah.
The only way that you should have people door knocking from other states is if you actually hire these people to come out and do this stuff.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. And I know this now as someone who's I'm working in grassroots right now. You're not going to get people that are going to door knock for free. You can get people who will make phone calls for free, but you'll have to give them a free meal. You're not going to get people who are going to knock doors for free. It's not going to happen.
No. The
It's
only
not.
way that you get people to door knock for free is if someone actually believes in your candidate that much.
Yeah, so exactly my point. Now, the thing is, I understand, okay, well, I can't finance my campaign, so I'm not going to be able to afford paying a whole host of people to knock doors. Okay, you're doing something wrong then. You're going to have to get people who have an expertise in financing campaigns. Which, by the way, Anthony, you might be someone for people to go to very shortly.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's looking to hire me, I mean, after this election cycle here in Maryland, I am basically free as a bird unless Ken Carson announces that he is officially running in 2020. What would it be? 2028? It's if he's running in 2028, that's my next campaign, and we will easily win that Ohio race. We will have a gay conservative Republican in DC for Ohio.
Yeah. You have to win the primary first. You'll definitely win the general, especially.
He's winning that fucking primary. That's easy. His state. So he's only told me this, but so you know what? I'm going to leak it right now. His state Republican Party has asked him to run multiple times.
Then he needs to run. Because
He's running in 2028. He and I have already talked about it. If I decide to continue campaign work, I haven't talked to him about like how my pay is going to work out. I might just move in with him during that time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm very concerned because if the midterms are as bad as it's looking for us right now, we're gonna have a huge issue with maintaining control of the House.
Yeah. Dude, the Senate will be up for grabs if we do this bad.
So let me tell you guys what our our strategy has to be for the House and Senate right now. All right. Step number 1. All right. First, we get this continuing resolution bill passed. And then
Yeah,
you go
immediately.
ahead. Yeah, easily. I don't care how you fucking do it anymore. This is coming from someone that wants to enshrine the filibuster into the Constitution because I think both sides are fucking idiots. All right. What you do is that you pass an actual clean budget right before the election cycle.
Ain't gonna happen, brother.
I don't fucking care if you have to break the filibuster or not. That's how you do it in the Senate.
Well, if the
Now
budget can go under reconciliation, there is no filibuster. It doesn't have to go through cloture.
Yeah. Now, how it goes with the House, what you need to do with these guys is especially how I'm running our campaign right now. All right. So for you guys that don't know that are watching or listening to this later on, I am working for Bernie Flowers. We are running in the Congressional District 3 of Maryland. What you got to do is that you got to hammer in that social media presence. You got to have your candidates go ahead and launch these podcasts so they can go directly towards you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care if it's a podcast that freaking lasts until your election and then you call it fucking quits. People deserve to hear every little fucking thing that you have in your goddamn mind. And that's how you win in the representative votes. It's you go directly to the people, you go ahead and you get this fucking funding outside the state. Like we're going to have to do. I'm going to be honest, we're not going to get a lot of funding from the state of Maryland. We're not. Right.
No,
I gotta nationalize my candidate.
Yeah, you're the Republican war chest for some reason. Even though we had a growing base to be like the Democrat war chest, right? Because Hollywood's waning. You have a lot of the billionaires jump ship to support Trump, right? So we had a war chest forming, but it's for some reason because we still have a lot of the old guard in the Republican Party that's controlling the funds, right? They are going to be the ones that are going to be saying, well, why are we going to spend all the money here in New York City or New Jersey? That's why. Why? So that you throw Democrats off a loop. If you take any candidate, right, and you push the shit out of them with podcasts and because Trump proved that this is the podcast era.
Correct.
Right? Trump proved this, right? And the only reason why Kamala lost really as handedly as she did is that she just ignored good podcasts. She went for very niche ones that really weren't going to garner anything more than just better support for her base. And so Trump at least went out and did Democrat podcasts, socialist podcasts. He jumped on every podcast. He got freaking Joe Rogan on his podcast, right? And so we have a problem that Republicans are very conservative when it comes to spending money on campaigns. It's a massive issue because they're too afraid to throw money at a dead horse. Well, sorry to tell you, we are in the era that you have to spend money in order to make money in terms of votes. And so
yeah, we have fucking Mitch McConnell in 2024 costing us Senate seats. I mean, we would have easily won Wisconsin or Michigan or even Nevada if we didn't send a shit ton of money to Larry fucking Hogan.
Oh my God. Yeah, like 100%. And I will say this, as you guys know, I ran the campaign against Hogan during the primary. It was a winnable seat if you didn't nominate Larry fucking Hogan.
Yeah,
Larry Hogan is such a fucking abysmal candidate and an idiot. Mm-hmm. Look, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I don't give a fuck. He blacklisted me. I don't give a flying fuck. This guy's a fucking moron and doesn't understand how the Republican Party fucking goes. This guy needs to just lead the Republican Party like he did where he founded his new party that freaking failed in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
It failed in 3 months because he's a fucking moron, and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Him and Michael Steele, in all honesty, need to go ahead and probably just jerk each other off in like a fucking corner or something into the DNC donation bin.
They probably already have.
Yeah,
That's the sad part. But to say this is like Republicans have just a terrible track record of putting out bad candidates. Terrible, absolutely terrible. The last good candidate that we had, like off the rip, was Newt Gingrich. I'll say that with my chest. Newt was a fantastic candidate for his time, and he could have really gone forward. Now this is coming from someone that I was really good. I was a big fan of Herman Cain. I was a huge fan of Herman Cain. He could have taken it to the House. He could have really done good for us. And we allowed the Democrats to ruin him like they almost ruined wow, I'm blanking right now. I'm not even drunk and I'm blanking. Ruined dude, come on. I'm professionally drunk. I'm Polish. Anyway,
I'm Italian.
Sorry, I would have helped you. I'm not even kidding. I actually just spaced out for a second because I was like just thinking, and dude, we're kind of fucked, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Like I did not expect the election to go half this bad. If this is just even a slight look into the future of what 26 is going to look like, we are fucked.
Well, the thing is, the only thing that's going to change that is for one, Republicans need to get off our asses and actually propaganda like the Democrats do, right? In all honesty, in the grand majority of things, like Democrats really have lost the messaging when it comes to the shutdown. It's just that you have NBC, CBN. Yeah, you have all of the mainstream
CNN.
medias coming after Trump, saying, "Oh, it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault." Hello, the man does not control budgets. That's Congress.
Exactly.
Who has a commanding majority in all the three bodies of government? This is why civics needs to be a mandatory class in high school.
Yeah, so everyone needs to know about closure, the filibuster. If you don't know about closure or the filibuster, and you aren't aware that unless you have 60 seats in the Senate, you don't really control the Senate. Unless it's like reconciliation, you need 60 votes. Again, reconciliation and appointments. There's one I'm missing. I can't remember exactly the top of my head, but it's okay. Reconciliation, appointments, those are generally the only time where you do not need to go through closure. Virtually any other measure you want to pass through the Senate, you have got to go through what we call closure or the filibuster. And that means that they can push it up to instead of just a 51-49 majority, you have to get a 60-40 majority. You have to get 60 out of 100. And it's very difficult to do. To be fair, had Mitch McConnell not fucked us over so bad, then there's a decent chance we could have had as much as 56, 57 seats, and then we wouldn't have to do too much to get, a couple Democrats like John Fetterman and maybe even get one of his other lackeys to swing over with us. But I digress.
Yeah, the turtle.
He would have to. John Fetterman would have to get 2 more because we all know how Rand Paul is with when it comes to the budget.
Don't get me started with Rand. Him and Massey piss me off to an ungodly degree. They aren't Republicans. They're
libertarians.
They're libertarians, but they're
Rand Paul has even said that he's not a Republican. He said he's a conservatarian, if anything.
Well, I mean, I'm a conservatarian myself in many ways. I would like to say I like conservatarian viewpoints. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I like Thomas Massey as I like his policies overall. But at the end of the day, I understand politics, and we're gonna have to settle. At the end of the day, you have to do some settling. You can't play this immediate, reactionary game where you say it's either all or nothing. It's either I get everything I want or I won't accept anything. And that's the game that Rand Paul and Thomas Massey play. And I think that's why they screw us over a lot. And I say that as someone who I like both of them as individuals. I have much more respect for them than, say, Lindsey Graham, who Trump's endorsing, which is ridiculous, but I digress.
The era of libertarianism has passed. I will say this with my chest, and I will die on this hill. The best chance for libertarians to garner seats was when the Tea Party was actually a viable third party, right?
Well, there was that, and if they were smart during the last election cycle, they should have either one get RFK the endorsement, or they should have double endorsed Trump.
Yeah, you would have picked up a future generation of libertarians that would eventually come in and actually fill a third party role.
The other problem, though, is that the Libertarian Party is so left-leaning compared to the actual libertarian ideology. Libertarianism is objectively and always traditionally a right-leaning ideology. And it is because it strives for individualism. Individualism is a fiscally, economically, right-wing, conservative, very conservative viewpoint. Conservative in the American sense, of course, depends, what we're talking, which nation we're referring to. But point being is that libertarianism is a right-wing, and in America, a conservative ideology inherently. But the Libertarian Party endorses, a lot of left-wing nonsense, and that's the problem with the Libertarian Party.
Well, the problem with the Libertarians' most recent election cycle is that they legitimately put out a communist, and I think that was intended, right? Because they wanted to swing as many votes as possible to Trump, I think, at least the leadership. But the problem is like that was a double-edged sword, and they've fallen on their sword because now you have genuine left libertarians controlling the Libertarian Party now, even on the small level. And once you have a kernel of communism or anything like radically left in your party, they will fester. And we're seeing that with the Democrats. We've seen that with Democrats. Like, ever since they have accepted Bernie Sanders, down. The classical liberalism that Democrats are known for and would actually make them competitive against conservative Republicans is dead.
Well, yes, classical liberalism is now a right-wing ideology in America. Objectively, I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I'm classically liberal in some of our, I guess you could say constitutional principles, to say the least. I am. I do generally believe, in the classical liberal Enlightenment, framework, preserving the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, all that. The problem is that Democrats don't believe in that anymore, and they've turned their back on classical liberalism. That's why, I mean, they're not classical liberals. And to be fair, the term liberal isn't really the best insult for them anymore. I mean, it's cool to say own the libs, I get it, but they're progressives at best, socialists at worst. And in Mamdani's case, a full-blown commie.
Yeah, as much as he claims he's a Democrat socialist, his rhetoric and the shit that they were able to drag up for when he was before a political candidate, outright communist. Everything out of that man's mouth was communism, right? And we have a severe problem because I just want to know when we are going to invoke the Anti-Communist Act and actually do shit about the communists in our government, because it's still a viable act. It's never been repealed. It's never been struck down, as far as I know, with SCOTUS. So, hello, Trump, balls. Big bald Trump. What are you doing? Where's the gold-plated dong that you want to smack on people's heads? Come on,
this is why I think a lot of conservatives are feeling so disavowed with Trump right now, and they're searching for something shiny and new to look at. And I don't think I want to mention the individual's name, but they're going to a guy whose first name is Nick, and that's another problem that we're facing, is because we have someone like him who is a Democratic plant. I'm not necessarily saying he's literally funded by Democrats, but he's acting as a Democratic plant. I mean, he is. He grabs people like me, I mean, by people like me, I just mean young conservatives. He grabs young, teenage, early 20 conservatives, and, he tells them there's no point in voting Republican. They're just as bad as the Democrats. They all work for the Jews, and, all this anti-Semitic bullshit that he, spews down their throat. And what does it do? It incentivizes them to just not vote. And by not voting, you help Democrats get elected, which means he is a Democratic plant. And that's another big issue that we're facing right now. And it's going to be an issue until we come together and address it. Period.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna need Charlie's replacement and fast.
Yeah.
I know Cam Higbee is trying to fill that role. Steven Crowder is brought back. Changed my mind.
Crowder's not going to be it either.
No, I know.
Like I said, it's going to be something. It's going to be someone that we know personally. It's going to be one of our TikTok friends. That's the only way it's going to happen. I've already said multiple times, if I need to be that person to pick up the mantle, I have no fucking problem doing it.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, that's the reason why this show is fucking back. All right? I mean, you guys know, I've said that I was retired after we got Trump into office. I said I'm done with the politics stuff, done with the influencing. But ever since that bullet went to Charlie's neck, I came out of retirement because we need people to speak out.
Yeah. And we need to bring back conservatism to a degree and change populism to actually meet conservatism, right? Because while populism can win elections, if we go a little too far off from what makes us conservative, eventually we're going to teeter to the wrong side. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing with the very tribal mentality of what happened with Charlie, right? You saw a very human reaction. And this is somebody that's, I'm saying as a history buff, the most damning thing you could, not damning, but the most revealing thing you can do is see how people have reacted to someone's death. And with Charlie dying, they opened up the floodgates to a lot of different sides trying to garner a lot of power. You had the liberals and the progressives, the rainbow-haired people really got schwacked with this tribalism, right? Because you have the visceral reaction of moderate conservatives saying, well, you want someone like me dead. Well, I'm going to go to the side that doesn't want me dead. Well, that's unfortunately fascist people. And as while fascism is inherently a left-wing ideology, fascism is a very unique ideology in the aspect that it can switch from side to side. That's why when Mussolini's fascism versus Pinochet's fascism versus Hitler's fascism, all these people's fascism was completely different. Like, yeah, it followed a general tract, but there was still differences, nuanced differences that if you were not inept politically, you can pick them out.
And the funny thing is that, like, Hitler's who they frame as like the most right-wing fascist, when actually no, Hitler was far from right-wing.
Oh, no,
Hitler was literally leftist.
Like if you subtract his ethnocentric policies, and like throw everything he believed onto like a compass, he's like center left.
Literally center left. Yes, he is.
If you
he is just center left minus authoritarian.
Minus literally just minus the ethnic supremacy, he is right there, right? But even ethnic supremacy isn't inherently a right-wing thing. It's only because the intelligentsia says it is. Stalin, are we going to call him right-wing? Stalin was very ethno-supremacy with the Russians, right?
Well, there's a common theme, and that is that these fascists, left or right, these tribalistic leaders that you're outlining, they believe in identitarianism.
Yeah,
they do, and it doesn't matter. It can manifest in left-wing or right-wing fascism. It doesn't matter. You're always going to get identitarianism. You're always going to get tribalism, and you're always going to get, radical authoritarianism. That's what you will always get 100% of the time. And like I said, it can manifest in different, modalities, but that's what you'll always see.
Yeah. I mean, to get back to the case in point, I mean, Republicans are getting schwacked right now with the midterms, and this is indicative of what happened in Trump's first term. Is that Republicans are being little wimpy babies and not turning up the propaganda machine that Republicans did have. Like, Republicans did have a very robust propaganda machine. As much as I hate propaganda on face value, right? You should just be able to tell the American voter, like, hey, this is the facts. Pick the facts, right? Do you like this? Do you like that? But as we all know, as Tony has said, the American voter has the short-term memory of a fucking blue-footed booby. It does not understand that jumping off the cliff is going to kill you, even though it just watched 10 of its brothers and sisters do the same thing and they died. So we have an issue here where Republicans are again doing this shit where we are trying to take the high road. Now, I'm not saying slandering people like the Democrats do all the time. That's not what I'm saying at all. But we have to be willing to get our hands dirty like the Democrats and the progressive wing of Democrats are going to do.
Completely true. Completely true. Well, at the end of the day, and people won't like hearing this, but you use the term propaganda machine. And don't get me wrong, I don't like using that term. I don't like advocating for such, but we have to be honest. And you're not going to win elections anymore by just saying, here, Americans, here are the facts, here's our data, boom. No. American voters, left and right, the electorate has become very reactionary and very emotional. You're going to have to appeal to them using a lot of pathos, period.
Yeah. I mean, when you have the Cato Institute siding with Democrats saying that political violence is inherently right-wing, the Cato Institute, a Republican think tank, is saying this. That is a problem.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, especially when political violence, just using rational recent events, has been almost exclusively done by the left. And that's a fact. I'm not just talking about your, assassination attempts or successful assassinations. Let's look beyond that. Let's look at violent riots, violent protests. Yes, there was January 6th. I'm not going to condone what happened on January 6th, but January 6th was, wait for it, one night, and it was at most like 1,000 people out of a group of millions who actually got violent. Compare that to the Summer of Love. Compare that to the Summer of Love. Compare that to 2 summers later in 2022, the whole host of riots that we saw from the far left after Roe v. Wade was overturned. In fact, not even when it was already overturned, just when it got leaked, which, by the way, Supreme Court cases should never be getting leaked like that. But when it had gotten leaked, we saw a whole host of riots from the far left. This is the common theme with political violence today and, political motivated attacks against the American public is that it is almost exclusively from the left. And like you said, for the Cato Institute, a conservatarian think tank, to be pushing that nonsense down everyone's throat, it's a problem, to say the least. Serious, detrimental problem.
Yeah, which tells me that, Cato Institute needs to go the way of the dinosaur. We need to have actual conservative think tanks. We need to have these conservative billionaires, like the guy that owns Oracle, right? I forget his name off the top of my head. This man could have a revolving door tax write-off to actually set up a good conservative think tank, right? Because as much as we want to do it by ourselves, collecting data and collecting on-the-ground news and everything, and like actual good sources that can be backed up and corroborated, takes money, takes time, and takes training. Unless Tony hits the lottery tomorrow, I don't think anyone's really going to be setting up a good conservative think tank for a long time. I've been advocating for a conservative think tank like the Cato to actually like rip apart the gun violence debate with actual statistics by combing through everything and actually categorizing everything properly. Has anyone ever done that? No.
Nope.
So we have an issue where conservatives are being little wimpy babies, and we're still clutching our pearls at the slightest idea of populism. when we can just use it as a tool to push conservatism, which has historically done. When people use populism, has been used as a mode to a different political party. I mean, look at Mussolini. Mussolini used left-wing populism. He created left-wing fascism. Then if you look at Hitler, Hitler used right-wing populism, and we got what he got. Like, and look at Franco in Spain. He used another term of populism, and look what he did. So, like, populism doesn't always lead to fascism at all, right? But it is a great mode to get low propensity voters and people that are what we would call normies to actually get off their asses and go vote.
Yeah, but then there's the caveat, which is that we were not the party of turnout at all. We were the party that always showed up, no matter what. I mean, you look at midterms before and look at midterms now. Even in I believe 2002, I think Republicans did very well in the midterms, despite the fact that Bush had already been president. Right?
We only did that well because of 9/11.
Well, that is true, but I'm just trying to make a point though, which is largely. I'll be honest though. I mean, look, you got that. That's true. I agree with you, but if a similar event of that nature happens today and Trump is president or a Republican is president, I don't think we're going to perform like we did in 2002 in the midterms.
No,
because we're not the party. We're not the party of high propensity suburban boomers anymore. That's not us anymore. That is just not.
The boomer vote's dead. It's gonna be dead in the next 15 years.
We are now the party of low propensity voters, which are it's two types of low propensity voters. It's those in agriculture, the farmers, the rural voters, and which we've always been the party of them, so that hasn't changed. But our other voting bloc beforehand was the rich suburban whites. That's what we also had. Now that's not necessarily the case. Now we are the party of the working class, of the blue collar workers, the plumbers, the electricians, and all of that. And don't get me wrong, I love relating to people like that, the people who.
We lost our host.
Okay.
Chat, help.
No, I'm still
help.
here.
I'm scared.
here.
Okay.
I just removed myself from the stage because you guys were talking. So.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, if you want to, you can. But what I was saying is that, yeah, I love that. I mean, I can say this. I really appreciate what the blue collar workers do for this country. The blue collar men are the reason this country exists. On the other hand, though, we need to be honest, and we have got to find a way to get these people to fucking vote when Donald John Trump's not on the ballot.
The only way, I'm telling you right now, the only way we're going to be able to do that is if Republicans get some teeth. I don't care how you do it. Get some teeth in the Senate, get some teeth in the House, get some teeth in Congress, and actually get stuff that's going to improve the lives of natural everyday voters, right? We need to limit the power of government, which Trump's doing the best he can with executive orders. But newsflash, if Vance doesn't win the next, because we all know, I'm calling it right now, Vance is going to run. If Vance doesn't run, I will literally eat a shoe on live. And
he's gonna run. I don't know that he'll win, but he'll run.
I think he'll win. Usually, like, I think there's going to be the only way he's going to
be him or DeSantis for sure.
Yeah. 100%. I will say this though: the only way for Republicans to actually get people to vote for them en masse is to actually start passing stuff that is going to help the everyday person, that's going to tangibly help them. Now, mind you, the Trump tax cuts, I benefited from that tremendously. My federal taxes went down. Now, mind you, not enough, but it's still something. Republicans need to come out and stop saying, "Oh, we need to get rid of the Affordable Care Act." We need to do something that replaces the Affordable Care Act, that actually makes it affordable and doesn't screw over things. But the problem is that if we so much as even touch that, it's going to become, well, you're embracing socialism. If we're going to have well, first off, I'm a free market capitalist through and through, but the writing on the wall says that the ACA is too popular of a program to unilaterally remove without a replacement. And I'm confident Republican lawmakers can figure something out where they can get a replacement in that would actually capture people's like attention and wouldn't actually kill competition, right? And so, like, even if you set it off to where it's something along the lines of only college students, only college students, single mothers, single parents can apply for ACA, right? But you get a tax credit if you're married and you have kids and you're going with the privatized route, right? Like there's so many different things that they could do that can replace the ACA and also help working class families. Now, this also goes on to just lowering taxes in general. The middle class has shrunk to the smallest it's been since before the Great Depression.
Yep.
And while everyone in this podcast
But
probably
only difference though is before the Great Depression, we didn't have a program in which for every one person receiving the program, there's only 3.5 people.
Yeah,
and that is, of
another
course, Social
problem.
Security, a program that, by the way, is our biggest expense. So, I mean, no. I'm not discounting. What you said is very important, but I just want to say there's context to that as well, because it's very hard to, get the middle class prospering when the middle class is also having to make up for Social Security.
Yeah. And it's not even just a tax the rich scenario, because if you were to take every rich person, all the millionaires and billionaires in the country, rip all their money from them, make them penniless tomorrow, right? If you did that, the U.S. government operates for a day. That's a problem. We have a spending problem. That's another thing that we Republicans actually need to do, is cut our spending. Like if you were to change it,
everything across the board,
except defense. But
nope. I'm even cutting defense. I'm cutting defense. I'm cutting
everything.
everything.
Cut it all.
3 to 5%. Everything's cut.
Yes, thank you. That's what I said. 3 to 5%. Cut it off.
I've heard enough. Triple the defense budget. That's all I needed to hear.
No.
Listen, hold on. I don't have the crazy hair out right now, but aliens. Just saying. I'm kidding. Anyway, to be fair,
aliens. They're all coming from Mexico.
They're all coming from Mexico. They're not sending their brightest. I mean, they're quite bright physically, but not mentally, I
really like it when they cut the White House lawn.
It looks spectacular.
Oh yeah, I forgot to show the shirt.
Good. I will say, just a side note, the fact that man has his presidential portrait as his mugshot, wonderful. And whoever's running the White House social media, I hope he's getting all the money. It is so funny. It is so funny, the memes that they're putting out. It's hysterical.
Great job, Baron Trump.
Probably. I mean, I'll say this. I will never stop criticizing Trump where he needs to be criticized. This is something you'll like, polished, but me and Anthony both criticized the OBBB and specifically the upping the defense budget from $850 billion to 1.02 trillion. I don't agree with that.
The thing is,
wait. I was just mentioning that as a side note.
Yeah.
But despite the issues I've had with him, the guy knows how to fucking run a campaign, man. The guy knows how to fucking run a campaign.
He's just memeable.
You
need to be memeable.
If you have a mainstream media doing every single thing in their power to keep you from getting elected, and you still get elected and sweep the swing states against a brand new candidate who they propped up as first female president, who they had to use as a replacement for the fact that you were whipping Biden's ass. If you still get elected so handily, not only are you doing something right, you're doing something that needs to be mirrored. Period.
Which I honestly think it's either going to be Vance that's going to do it or DeSantis.
That's our best options for sure. I mean, my gosh, if we had Nikki Haley as our nominee, I might crash out.
As much as you guys think that I'm a war hawk, I'm not.
No, you're not. You're not. I don't think that. I've never said that.
But I will say though, like I didn't trust Nikki Haley's foreign policy as much as yes, I remember this vividly. It was an awesome day. Because if you actually like, I think someone Wayback Machine this. If you go back and you look at the comments section on this shit, it is funny. Like, she's removed it, but it is hilarious. People ripping her up, like, because she posted this and she lost literally the next month. It was just like, oh god.
It was literally a few days later. That's the
Yeah.
hilarious thing. It was like the next week.
She got beat pretty. No, I don't know. I mean, she didn't get beat handily necessarily. Across the 3 swing states, she lost by like 70-odd thousand votes. But Kamala really got her ass kicked. She lost by 220,000 plus votes across the 3 swing states.
She didn't even get any votes to run in the primary when she first ran.
I mean, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
Biden literally picked her for a DEI pick because he thought it was going to shore up the women vote and the black vote.
Yep. He literally said that too. The entire Biden campaign literally said that.
Yeah, no, well, they announced they were going to pick a black woman, and they picked a woman who's like a quarter black, a quarter white. and
Oh my
half Indian.
God! Don't get me fucking started on that. Oh,
Is this
Kamala
Egyptian?
Harris? Kamala Harris is fucking black. She
So
was
her-
fucking Indian their entire fucking life. Like, she was raised Indian, not fucking black.
So
I'm pretty sure if I go into her house, I'm not going to hear the ceiling birds.
Okay,
Well, that's foul. But I love you for that. That's
that's
foul.
fucking awful, dude. But what I do not. I want to make it clear. I do not endorse what he just said. But what not even to the
Saving
slightest
yourself,
degree.
I see.
Not even to the slightest do I endorse what he just said. I completely disagree with that. But what I want to say though is that Kamala's mom is Indian. Her dad's part black, part white. Her dad's dad is white, and her dad's mom is black. That would make her a quarter white, a quarter black, half Indian. Nothing from that tells you that she's a black woman. I'm not calling someone who's a quarter white. I'm not calling someone who's a quarter black. She's Indian. She's mixed race. First of all, she's mixed race.
Well,
But
she's a mutt. But there was far better black. There was far better black. Hey, listen, that's not a racist thing to say. If we look at a dog and a dog's mixed, they're mutts. But anyway, it's not a racist.
dude, this is going on
Oh,
YouTube, bro. What are
I'm
you
fucking
doing?
clipping this shit so much. This is gonna be so fucking funny. That's a short.
aliens. Anyway, but I will say this. No, like, Kamala was a terrible candidate. They could have ran hundreds of different black female Democrats. They could have pulled anyone out of the legislators of the North that was a black female and said, hey, we need a black female to shore up these 2 voting demographics. Please come on. At least you're competent. The Democrats seem to have this mentality of picking a vice president that is extremely dumber than them. Obama did that with Biden. Biden's literally licking a doorknob. Even like, he was licking a doorknob even in his heyday. This man was talking about racial jungles and how his mentor was literally Senator Byrd, who was a member
Robert
of the
C. Byrd.
KKK.
Robert
So,
C. Byrd,
like,
yeah.
That is a problem when this man is going to come to the black community and say they're going to push you back in chains if you vote for Donald Trump. Are
Yep.
you out of your blueberry mind?
You know what his worst one was, in my opinion, was when he was talking to a group of black children at that, so that makes it even worse. It was children he was talking to. And he starts going off about his hairy legs. I'm sure you've heard that.
Oh,
I got
Wait,
them
wait,
hairy
wait.
legs that turn blonde in the sunlight,
there
it's
was
come up to him.
spoils.
and
But
they brush my
here's
hair
where it gets
legs.
bad. Where it gets bad is when he says, and you look at, so I learned about roaches, and I learned kids jumping on my lap. And I love kids jumping on my lap. But anyway, the part of it that's really bad is where he says, I learned about roaches. Are you guys aware of a term that they used to use in the South to describe black children?
Yeah.
They literally, they call them
Literally.
roaches because they would say they breed like cockroaches. That's
It's
a term
disgusting.
that Joe Biden said that shit. And
I mean, he
people-
literally talking about poor Hispanic and poor black kids from the ghetto, saying they're just as smart as white kids. It's like,
exactly. So the point is that I'm not going to accept anyone who said in 2020 that they voted for Joe Biden because Trump's a racist, Trump doesn't support BLM, any of this. You look like a fucking fool. You look like a fucking
mean,
fool. I said
Never
that at
mind
the time.
Trump. Never mind. Trump literally has a photo of him and Muhammad Ali and fucking Rosa Parks in the same picture. I mean, like he was friends. Like Trump was a Democrat. People seem to forget this. Trump was a moderate Democrat, New York billionaire. Like this man lived and breathed Democrat. He's not. He's a moderate in conservatism now. He's nowhere near like the absolute monster that the left is trying to awaken with the death of Charlie is a problem because it's not going to be the moderate conservatives that. Hey, listen. Exactly my point. Like the man has awards for how anti-racist he is. Like he's not this demagogue that's trying to kill all black people. Or
There was
anything like that.
also in the 80s, Trump was a big supporter of Jesse Jackson. Big supporter.
So the thing is that like you said that Trump was a Democrat. He was also a Republican before that. He switched party lines more than anyone.
Yeah, especially in the modern sense.
Yeah, so he was a Republican in the 80s with Reagan, and then he was a Democrat in the 90s with Clinton. And then in the 2000s he was nonpartisan. I think he then with Obama.
He got pissed off with Obama.
He got pissed off with Bush, which made him just a moderate, and then Obama completely made him become a Republican again. But he didn't like Romney, and he said, or he didn't like Romney. He said Romney gave us Obama's second term. Correct. So then he decided to run, and we know what we got after that. The rest is history. Which again, I mean, don't get me wrong, Trump is far better than the old guard, but there are caveats to.
I will say this
to Trump's populism, and we've learned the caveats. Yeah. Tonight echoes the caveats.
Yeah, easily. I'll say this, though, too, when it comes to Romney. If he didn't fucking stop campaigning within the last 2 months, he would have won. That's what happened with him. He stopped campaigning in 2 months within the last 2 months.
I just hate that guy. I hate Romney. He's such
he's a fucking idiot. Him and Paul Ryan.
Oh, yeah. 100%. It's all the not having caffeine because Jehovah's Mormons. Gotta love him.
Yeah, this is actually like the worst election result I've ever seen. Also, no surprise here, California Prop 50 is going to pass.
It is?
No votes have even came in yet, but the exit polls, I guess, were just so in favor of it that the New York Times already called it.
There's no way, bro. There's just no way.
I'm honestly not surprised. I even said that like Prop 50 was most likely going to pass anyway.
Well, you guys know what that means, don't you? My home state of Indiana is about to respond with gerrymandering.
Every
so is
Republican
Texas.
State.
So is Florida.
Oh my god, dude! They're gonna absolutely mollywop Democrats in the South. Absolutely mollywop.
What's going to happen because the Democrats opened up this Pandora's box is that they are never going to have a majority again.
Oh yeah, they'll find ways to make extra districts just so Republicans have been tolerating. This is what I mean. Like Democrats have been down and dirty for decades now, right? And Republicans are like, no, we need to be the high road. We need to show them that we are the party of class. My ass. We have a problem now because, like Tony said, the Pandora's box has opened. Every right-leaning, because if you look at a map, the majority of the United States is red, right? They will make the seats. They will.
It's because Democrats are so compacted into metro areas, and that makes it difficult to represent them in the congressional districts. My home state in Indiana, for example, they decided to draw the most milquetoast, relatively fair district lines you could imagine. And with that, Democrats still only got 2 out of the 9 districts, despite receiving like about 35 to 40% of the vote. And that's because Democrats in this state are so compacted in Indianapolis and in Gary as well. They don't really show up enough, which is why that first district is pretty close. The first district's one of the blue districts. The other blue district is the Indy one in the 7th. But what they're going to do now is they're going to they're going to crack open into Indianapolis. They're going to break it up into 5 districts. They're going to draw the first district more north, and it's going to all be red. And on one hand, morally, do I agree with that? No, but we've been playing the more moral game for a while. You look in Texas before they redistrict, Texas had 25 Republican seats, and they gave Democrats 13 seats. They gave them 13 seats. California, with their independent commission, gave 43 out of the 52 seats to Democrats. Tell me which one sounds more imbalanced.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like I said, they've opened up Pandora's box with this. But what's also going to happen with these idiots, they've guaranteed no more. They're going to have the majority. They've guaranteed it. But what's also going to happen now is that there's going to be lawsuits up the ass for every single state now too when it comes to representation.
Every single one.
I'm gonna be real though. Again, morally, I have my issues with it, but until Illinois redraws their lines, until California, well, they are redrawing them, but it redraws it and makes it more fair. Why should my home state, Indiana, keep our lines relatively fair? Why should we do it? What's the rationale? Why should exactly? Why why would we do that? Why should Ohio not draw in more Republican districts? Which I think it's coming out. They're going to only add 1 more, even though they could add like 3 more. But they're weak in Ohio, clearly.
I think that's going to change though with these midterms because they still have time to come back and like, actually we wanted to do a little bit more work on it. We got a little eraser right here, and just whop. And it's going to be like that all over. Every Republican state is going to do it. Every single one. And they will never have a majority in the House again, which means governments stand still. Because if Democrats win the Congress, right, and Republicans have the House, nothing is going to get done because we're too infighting right now, right? Because
oh no, you're fine. But I just wanted to say, because I know a lot of people are constantly saying that Republicans are actually the ones who open up Pandora's box because we've been the ones gerrymandering for decades. None of that's true. But I just want to point out that in 2021, Democrats really did gerrymander at a scale we've never seen. And that's not my opinion, that's a fact. So here's the exact data I can give real quick. So maybe we're aware, maybe we're not, but because of a stupid state Supreme Court ruling in North Carolina, they had 7 red districts, 7 blue districts. Their initial drawing in 2020 was 10 red, 4 blue. They made them redraw. They had 7 red districts, 7 blue. But North Carolina ended up getting a supermajority in their state legislature. So what did they do in their state legislature? So what did they do? They ended up impeaching the liberal-leaning state Supreme Court justices and replaced them with conservative-leaning Supreme Court justices. And then that conservative Supreme Court overruled that past gerrymandering case, allowing them to draw in the 10 red, 4 blue districts once again. Had that not happened, Democrats would have won the fucking House in 2024 despite losing the congressional down ballot vote by 3 million votes. Now tell me, who the fuck is gerrymandering worse? Go ahead.
You just need to look at Illinois. You need to look at Illinois and see that district, that 11th district.
Your state.
Do not get me started. Don't get me started.
New Jersey's gerrymandering. They just give them a pass.
It's gonna get worse. I mean, all the New England states. There is several Republicans that are not. There's several 20+% Republicans that are not represented. In Maine, it went for 45% for Trump. There's not a single Republican House in Maine, right? So single Republican representative at all. That's a issue. If we're first off, we're not a democracy. I'm going to say that right now. You could clip this, Tony. Fuck democracy. We're a constitutional republic. Fuck democracy. But clip that. I want you to clip that. Anyway, I will say this. We are a constitutional federal republic. If we are to have equal representation of the government, right, eventually this gerrymandering shit needs to stop. It needs to stop. And eventually both sides need to be like, okay, we need to be fair. We're going to go off of the actual census of actual citizens in our country and figure out what the congressional seats should be per state to make it fair. But
Yep,
we're not
agreed.
interested in fair. We're not interested in fair.
Yep.
We're not.
All right, guys. Our other guests have just joined us. This is Air to Mud. How you doing?
Howdy,
Well,
howdy. I apologize for being a little bit late. I actually have a buddy over. He may want to potentially chime in here in the background, but I like completely wasn't paying attention to the time.
Oh, you're fine, brother. It happens. You get shit that's going on.
Yeah.
It happens.
So, what are we currently on in terms of the topic?
We've just been we've been off and on, but the official
Yeah, we've been
topic is we've just been yapping like usual. But the official topic was just the elections of tonight, the disappointments of tonight, really. And I mean, I as you know, you guys know in the VC last night. Oh well, Anthony, you weren't in there, but Polish and Colin, you both know. I said that I think we should be prepared for a potential clean sweep, and I was correct. But on the other hand, I did not expect it to be quite as bad as it was. Like New Jersey, I did not expect to go Democrat by 10 plus points. Just for example, the margins were way worse than I was anticipating, and I do think we could have a serious concern on our hands heading into 2026.
I don't think it's necessarily going to be a concern, purely because of the fact that ultimately, when we're looking at midterm elections, right? So let's start by talking about. I can't remember which senator it was. I want to say it was a Republican Minnesota senator. He had mentioned about a week ago, I think he went on Fox. He stated that one of the things that he had allegedly credible evidence to support, especially word of mouth from Democratic senators, that they were specifically holding out on the government shutdown for the midterm election results, and that 2 days after the results, they were going to then vote to end the government shutdown. That they were specifically leveraging the government shutdown in order to obtain results for the midterm elections. I say that this is all alleged because obviously we won't know until we actually see it happen in real time. However, like it's one of those situations where it's simply a short-term fix, right? Democrats are going to use this advantage that they have purely to try and do whatever it is that they can in the 2 years that they have. Right, that's all it comes down to. This was a rapid-fire situation in which they were attempting to gain some form of leverage within Congress because, you know, as it stood, they did not have really a whole lot of leverage at all. So I mean, I don't think that this is really something that we should be worrying too much about because ultimately, at the end of the day, they're not going to get a whole lot done anyways. I mean, they didn't get anything done the past 4 years. They sure as shit didn't get anything done under Trump's first administration. So I see absolutely nothing that indicates that we're going to see anything get done in terms of the Democratic agenda during these next 2 years.
Well, I wasn't necessarily talking about the agenda. I was just talking about the electoral results. And the reason that the electoral results can still be important in 2026 is because if we get really creamed in the House in 2026, that hinders our chance of winning the House in 2028. Because as we know, incumbents have like a 95% success rate.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting. I was talking more long term, but no, you're 100% correct. Yeah, they're not going to get anything done as long as Trump is in office. That's completely true.
Yeah, so what I think we're going to wind up seeing happen is, and like, while yes, we have that 95% success rate in terms of incumbents, the way that I'm looking at it personally is from a standpoint of, sure, 95% success rate, but our populists are getting much more reactionary, right? Because like what we were discussing last night, like I think that honestly the only reason why Trump won as easily and handily as he did was because of the attempts on his life during his run for presidency, right? And my buddy here, Dave, he also agrees. He's like, oh, 100%.
Yeah, surviving an assassination. They literally could not ask for better anything than surviving an assassination attempt. That's literally the best way to push your numbers up in any poll. So you somebody tried to assassinate you. clearly you must be doing something.
Exactly. So I don't know if you guys heard that or not. I don't.
We
like,
did.
I
We
heard
did.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Like I'm literally just on my phone because it was like literally like, oh shit, I forgot about this. Let me join last second. But you know, like what he said, like ultimately our populace is becoming more reactionary. So I would be unequivocally unsurprised if we see a 180 in terms of voter results within within the 2028 election, once they realize that Democrats do not have, again, they realize that Democrats do not have the American people's best interest at heart. Now, this is not to say that, Republicans have the American people's best interest at heart, because I unequivocally hold the stance that Republicans are, just one side of the same coin for Democrats. It ultimately, at the end of the day, like what we were discussing last night, right? Most people don't understand, number one, the difference between social versus fiscal ideology. And number two, they don't understand the difference between conservatism and liberalism, right? There's a difference between being a conservative and being a Republican, just like there's a difference between being a liberal and being a Democrat, just like there's a difference, just like, you have with Democrats, you have leftists, you have liberals, and you have progressives, and you have moderates. And they're all eating each other up. They're literally cannibalizing each other over on the left. And then with Republicans, you have your libertarians or Republicans.
Conservatarians.
Yeah, I say Republicans in terms of like the generalized voter base, right?
Mhm.
Because most libertarians, myself included, tend to vote Republican. So within the Republican voter base, you have your libertarians, you have your moderates, you have your conservatives, and then you have your groypers, and then you have like your just straight up crazy nut job extremists. Right?
Hi, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we all know Polish.
It's aliens. It's always aliens.
Aliens.
People also don't understand that there's different kinds of conservatism, like
Yeah.
fiscal conservatism, social conservatism. You can be fiscally conservative while being socially liberal, and you can be conservative with your social policies while being liberal with your fiscal policies.
I mean, that's
people just lose all that nuance and don't understand.
Well, I mean, like that's ultimately what libertarianism is, because libertarianism is or at least when you're operating from like the classical liberal standpoint, which is honestly what I am. Like I am what you would call a classical liberal. I am socially liberal, but I am fiscally conservative, right? So I believe in the idea of like gay people should have the right to be gay. Trans people should have the right to be trans. I believe in the generalized human rights of you can do what you want, say who you want, and be who you want, as long as you're not attempting to cause harm to yourself or somebody else. But I'm also fiscally conservative in the aspect of fuck socialism and fuck communism.
So I would like to say I completely agree with the social views you outlined. Well, so long as when you say like people have the, should have the liberty of being trans, which I do agree with that. Do you believe though that like it's okay for these Republican states to pass, bans on gender affirming care for minors specifically?
Yeah, so I think it 100% is acceptable to ban gender affirming care for minors, purely because of the fact that when we look at the way our law operates, right, minors do not have the ability to consent. Rightfully so, purely from the aspect that, generally speaking, minors are not capable of making informed choices. So when you have gender affirming care policies being applied in states and a child receives gender affirming care, it's not the child consenting to the gender affirming care. It's the child saying they want gender affirming care, and then the parent. Oh, what just happened?
He moved the things around so the two of us are talking. That's what he does.
Okay. And then it is the parent that is then turning around and consenting to the gender affirming care, right? It's not the child consenting to it and then them getting it done. It is literally the parent saying, okay, I consent to this. You can get this after the child has gotten it. And when we look at that, ultimately, I would view that as a violation of that child's personal individual rights, because the child is not able to make an informed decision. And
Exactly.
as I stated, you should be able to do what you want, when you want, how you want, as long as you're not causing harm to yourself or somebody else. And when you have a child, somebody who is not mentally developed enough to make informed decisions, and as they, like we can look at, for example, sex, right? Why is it that we prosecute somebody who is over the age of 18 for fucking a child? Because the child cannot
Can't consent. Yes, exactly.
The same logic and the same process applies for things like gender affirming care. The child is not physically capable of consenting and making an informed decision on the gender affirming care.
Exactly.
It's the
Yeah.
same process that we run into with medical procedures on children when it comes to surgery. If a child gets brought into a emergency care unit and they need life-saving surgery, if the parents say no, it doesn't matter at that point whether or not that child will die without it. If the parents have said no, then they do not operate.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's the same stance that I have. Then yes, I don't know if I would define myself as socially liberal necessarily, but I definitely wouldn't call myself, some social, hardcore conservative necessarily either, at least not in like the 2010 sense. On the modern stance, maybe because, the average conservative of today has a different viewpoint on, say, gay marriage than the conservative of 2010. But, I'm religious and I have my personal issues with homosexuality. On the other hand, though, why is it the government's business if you want to get married? And like if Anthony, for example, wanted to marry another dude, I don't care. Like, I really don't. I mean, morally speaking, I wouldn't agree with that. But on the other hand, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't directly affect you. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that is the stance that conservatives of today are generally having, which I do like. But, we have people who are infiltrating our movement that are trying to say that classical liberalism and the Enlightenment is actually a problem. And I say, fuck you to all those people.
The people that think the Enlightenment are a problem and fail to understand that everything we have today, capitalism, all the benefits we've gained from capitalism, all stem from the Enlightenment ideal of individualism. Because without individualism, we literally don't have any of the modern day anything. Like pretty much every political stance we have today that's in any way form like built on the idea that individual matters more comes from individualism, which we got from the Enlightenment. Before we got that, it was all everything was tribal. That's why like Italy didn't form until like the early 1900s, because if you were from Italy, you weren't from Italy. You were from Bologna, from Venice, from Rome. You weren't from Italy. You were from a city-state. You didn't care.
Exactly.
Individualism is what a lot of people feel like, well, no, I matter. And then they became citizens, and suddenly they were invested in their nations, and you have modern nation-states born from that. But you didn't have modern nation-states before the 1500s.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But the problem is that we have, these groypers that are coming in, infiltrating the conservative movement and claiming that, no, that's not actually conservatism. That's hijacked conservatism from the Jews or from, the Freemasons and the founders and all that. And they're trying to say that really we need to believe in right-wing authoritarianism, right-wing in quotes. And at the end of the day, we have to disavow that nonsense. And we have to understand that genuine, principled, individualistic conservatism is the answer, not this, pseudo-intellectual bullshit that we're seeing from these groypers.
Yeah, no, and the people that sit there and say that right-wing authoritarianism works, my response to that is the only time right-wing authoritarianism built anything that lasted for any long period of time was the Roman Empire, which lasted 1,400 years as an empire, because the Byzantines were still Romans. If you ask them, they didn't call themselves Byzantines, they were Romans. Every other time, it has been rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall, rise and fall constantly. Nothing else has held on consistently for as long as they did. And then people are like, well, what about left-wing authoritarianism? And I'm like, okay, well, that's where you have fascism, communism, and all of that. And the longest-running communist anything is communist China, and communist China is nothing but a bunch of cooked books and lies. So,
well, communist China isn't even communist anymore. If you really boil it down to it,
yeah.
they've shedded their communist facade with literal corporatism.
Yeah, no, that's fair, and like it's all just, like I said, a bunch of cookbooks and lies. Because I'm sorry, there's no way your economy grew by 8% on the clock every year consistently from 1981 to 2025. There's no fucking way. They had
Your
to prove the
economy
votes.
wouldn't not to interrupt you. Your economy wouldn't be teetering on needing predatory loans in Africa in order to stay alive right now. If
Yeah.
that was the case.
Exactly. Yeah, it's why when anyone says that authoritarianism anything works, I'm just like, well, no, it doesn't. The only time it ever worked was the Roman Empire. Every other time, it's failed miserably. And people are like, what about the British Empire? And I'm like, oh, you mean that thing that barely held together and it had to take over more and more of the world because it kept spawning more and more authoritarian problems till eventually it collapsed in a burning heap and declared how many independence days? How many people declared independence from Britain over like 100 countries?
Yeah.
I shall look this up.
Way too many to count. Way too many to count, including us.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Well, I mean, you have Alexander the Great.
okay, but that worked until he died.
But it works.
Until he died. Rome is the only time it worked where, oh, the leader died. That's fine. We only have a giant selection of other viable leaders to pick from.
And you know what? As they have heard me say many, many times, acquiesci do Roma.
Kneel to Rome. Yeah, submit to Rome or kneel to Rome, depending on the Yeah. No,
Man, the difference between, I won't drop names since we're live right now, but some of the Catholics in our server, and then, people like you, Colin, and you, Polish, it's insane. I
And
guess
you know
there's
what? I will name the names. It is Riot and Chase.
Okay.
I have no shame. All right. Like, I warned you all before you guys all agreed to allow me to come on the podcast. I have no shame.
Oh, I told you could come on because you know what it's fucking called. It's called Politically Unhinged. You fucking say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah,
Well-
I have no shame. The flying fuck is an extinct fuck, so therefore I could not give a flying fuck. However, I did at one point have domesticated fucks, but I have to keep the single breeding pair of like domesticated fucks that I have in order to propagate more fucks.
I don't even have
Thusly,
that.
I do not have even a fuck to give.
No, I don't even have any domesticated fucks left. In fact, I'm so dry on fucks. I don't know
How
to
many
fuck
times can we
I
say
mean-
fuck in a minute?
I don't know. I just think what's with this new new age Catholic converts that are big right wing authoritarians. It's just I swear it gives my brain literal cancer. I'm not kidding.
It's because they're looking for doctrine that normally that young right-wing men would get in the military that we just didn't see happen under Biden because recruitments had dropped down to a staggering low. And it would have probably leveled out if Trump had maintained control. But to answer everyone's question, I will give you a cookie if you guess the amount of countries that spawned from the fall of the British Empire.
237.
Very off.
Damn.
Higher or lower?
347.
Higher or lower?
109.
It's lower. It's lower than 237.
Yeah, it's
No,
not
no.
113.
Closer, but still off. Lower.
I thought
125.
237. I was about to say if it's higher than 237, I was going to freak out. Okay, my guess is it higher or lower than 100?
Wait, he said lower than 113, and then he said 125.
Wait, he said lower?
Lower.
Yeah.
98.
Close.
95.
94.
Keep going.
95. 86.
Very close.
84.
82.
Gentlemen, you can't just go down one by one. Give me actual guesses. damn it.
63.
Actually, it's between 65 and 70 countries were born.
Yeah, see,
67.
Yeah,
Give me
from-
my cookie.
yeah, from yeah.
Hey.
Look,
Look, we have 6, 7 now. Now we're going to have 69. So
Oh, don't get me started with
6'7".
6'7". This
6'7".
fucking stupid shit, man. Bro, this
I'm gonna
generation's
be honest.
cooked.
I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea where that fucking 6'7" meme came from. Like
Me
literally,
neither.
one day I was just scrolling through TikTok and then I saw like all of the memes making fun of 6'7", and I don't know where it's like with the whole like the groups 1 through 7 thing where it's like group 7 blah 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 group 5 and it's like I don't even know what these are, and like anytime I try to look up what these groups are, I don't find anything explaining what the groups are. I just find a bunch of people saying that they're a part of these groups.
So I can tell you the group thing is that it was some bitch that made videos go like, hey, if you see this video, you're part of the group, whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, I know what he's talking
It was
about, yeah.
basically it's just doing that whole like pick your character. Oh, if you see this, you're on green team, and this is who you're facing. And like they did it with Warhammer, they did it with Star Wars and all this shit. And then she brought it back with like when TikTok got bought out by Oracle to make it seem like, oh, you fucked with your algorithm, so you're getting group 7 now. It's like,
Okay.
give me a break.
Yeah, and the people that did it with Warhammer had no understanding of Warhammer.
Oh,
No.
don't get me started. Don't get me started. This isn't a nerd podcast, but oh my god.
Don't get his tism started.
First off,
Warhammer is a tism for me as well, bro.
First
I'm not
off,
even gonna lie.
I am not autistic. I am intellectually challenged.
I'm
just
not
acoustic.
talking about you. I'm talking about Polish or Polish, whatever the fuck.
What is with y'all calling me polished? Like, what the fuck?
Hey,
You
look,
know
I'm
what?
freaking. Look, it's because Patriot's an idiot and I'm drunk. So
Okay, that's
Okay,
that's
so-
understandable.
I was calling you polished, honestly, to piss you off. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Well,
alright.
okay, so unhinged.
Patreon.
That's not an excuse. That is not an excuse. Unhinged. I am drunk as well, and I still managed to call him Polish.
No,
Thank
I know it's pronounced Polish. I'm not an idiot. I'm calling him polished to piss him off.
Yeah, but unhinged is just fucking retarded.
Oh,
yes, because I haven't had an edible yet. So
Oh, so you have yet to become even more retarded. So we're already
Exactly.
at the basement. There's still a sub level.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know this. You were in the freaking Discord.
But is your basement not of a sub level?
We live in the floodplains of Texas. We don't have basements.
In fact, Polish. I'm surprised it took you that long to call us out and calling you polished. I'm not gonna lie.
I honestly was gonna call it out like on the after show to be like, what the fuck were you saying polished for? And then Tony said it. I was like, all right, I'm not stopping now. You're getting it. You're getting the angry Polish millennial. But no, like
like me when I'm angry.
dude, I've literally like, if you ever go on my TikToks, my usual thing is people calling people retarded and telling people to like shut the fuck up. That's my shtick.
That's literally all that it
Well,
is.
speaking of Poland, that's like the fever dream for those people I was just ranting about. The new age right wing Catholics, or authoritarian Catholics.
Sorry,
can't
my
t-
nips are hard.
But you love Poland? Like you
I
love
love
like the-
Poland.
God,
I love Poland.
you literally look like the freaking coach from Waterboy that did that.
I was saying I like Poland as well, but for my own personal reasons that I can neither confirm nor deny.
I actually like Poland as
Same.
well. I just I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say I want their entire governance to reflect ours necessarily.
They're
And
not a theocracy. Stop it.
I'm
Just because
just- I'm
just because they
saying, like,
recognize Jesus Christ as their king doesn't make them a theocracy.
I wasn't
I'm
saying they're a
I'm just
theocracy
saying
necessarily.
that Polish women know what they're doing around a pole.
I like Poland, but I'm also Swedish by like birth and citizenship. So I like Poland for different reasons.
I was gonna say you have a green card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, trust me, I like Poland a lot
because-
more than the secular liberal hellholes in Europe.
Well,
Someone
I like
someone
Poland
that
because they
didn't.
represent what Europe should have done the moment like the Iron Curtain came down, which is immediately reject Russia, militarize yourself, and be ready to defend yourself against the belligerent that will one day be the
Hey,
one.
someone with a genetic hate of Russia too.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
in heaven.
Yeah.
I'm in
I don't have
heaven,
the
baby.
genetic of Russia.
no, I've got historical and genetic hate of Russia.
Yeah, I was saying I'm just
100%.
all I'm gonna say is
Get the gay marriage bells
78.
ringing.
all I'm gonna say is 78, 15 with a literal like stability pole.
All right,
Like
Colin, I need to say you're a married man.
no, we all so
Mm.
for the viewers,
Mm.
I fought in the Russo-Ukrainian War from 2021 until like 3/4 of the way through 2022. All right, do not let Polish deceive you.
Polish. It's polish.
We're calling him polished now.
Second off, we live in 2025. You do not know the nature of my marriage.
I met you before 2025. What are you talking about?
I said we live in 2025. You do not know the
Oh.
nature of my marriage.
Okay, quite frankly.
And even still, like, yeah, you met me before 2025, but I got married back in March. You did not know me when I was married. You knew me when
I was about to
still
say,
slinging meat.
like, if we're fucking saying that, I've known him before 2025. Like, what?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you guys knew me back when I was still slinging meat.
He's laying down that pipe, getting to the princess.
Hey, man, I was.
Well,
sending-
good thing she
I was
wasn't found in
sending-
another castle.
Well,
Fuck.
to be fair, Nintendo did
To be
confirm
fair.
Mario and Peach are not a couple. I
I'm
know,
just saying, I was
shocking.
sending a little bit more than 5.56 downrange. Okay.
Listen here, not everyone could be 30-06. Some people need to be, 308. It's okay.
And you know what? While you guys have all of that shit, I'm like 5.0 Beowulf.
Oh, shut up. Wait, that means you have a. I'm not gonna finish that sentence.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You hold on. Tony, I'm gonna find a size comparison of Beowulf for you real quick.
just fucking say it. It's
No, I'm gonna. The viewers need to see. It's a visual representation.
what
They
about
need
the
a-
ones
like,
that are doing audio only?
like it?
Well,
Okay,
that's their own fault.
I'm gonna get a
Yeah.
drink of it.
like you need to specifically do a visual comparison of 5.56 because 5.56 is standard, and then 5.0 Beowulf. Like, just do a visual comparison.
You can just call it a 223 if you want to give it its proper size.
First off, I'm American. I say 5.56. All right, we're not gonna have that fucking Swedish shit here. Okay. Like, I love
the
I
actual size of the round.
I'll say I don't get me wrong, I love IKEA.
Yeah,
but-
it's great.
That's about as far as it goes. Like, we need to do a physical comparison of 5.56 to 5.0 Beowulf, and honestly, I will 100% say that is an accurate comparison for the topic that we were discussing without directly mentioning it.
I hate you. Anyway, Anthony, here you go, buddy. So you could show the viewers so they can have a visual idea. Where are you? There you are. There we go. And send. There you go, buddy. Anyway, but no,
it is an accurate comparison. Like, not to try to be TMI or anything, but it's an accurate comparison.
I mean, not for nothing. If we're gonna be accurate comparison, the only thing you were used for is to shoot out engine blocks, and even then, y'all failed at that. So, as much as I love Beowulf, just saying, not in that way, but yeah, in the actual shooting way.
I mean, yeah, sure. I'm like, while most people say all we're good for is shooting out engine blocks, we're still effective as shit, and all of the guys and everybody that's used it will agree.
Look, 50 caliber. Beowulf falls into the same range as every other 50 caliber round ever. It's great at anti-material, but you know what counts as material?
Everything.
A motherfucker's chin strap.
I'll say I've busted plenty of chin straps if you catch my drift.
But no,
Hey,
like,
you.
like legitimate military doctrine, though. Like, legitimately, I don't know if the U.S. still does it, but I know the Canadian military considers the chin strap on somebody's helmet to be material that qualifies as being shot at with an anti-material rifle.
Yeah, no, that's a war crime.
Yeah, it's Warcraft.
But it's not a war crime because I'm not shooting at their head; I'm shooting at the material on their chin.
It's not a war crime if CO don't find out.
Yeah, but the Canadian CO is the one telling you to do it.
Okay, I'm not
never-
Canadian.
It's not a war crime. It's called the Geneva Checklist.
Yes,
never
but
a
also
war
these
crime
are
the first
Canadians,
time.
so like it's really not a war crime to them.
Actually, it's not even a checklist. It's just a suggestion.
It's not even that. It's actually just a record of the things they did in World War One.
Yeah,
I'm
pretty much.
just
What do you mean just World War One? It's also World War Two.
I'm just
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
but like the throwing food into the trenches and then waiting till the day 7 also throwing grenades with the food.
I gotta
that was
say,
World War One.
I told you the goat story, and
Yes.
that's not even in the Geneva Conventions.
No.
I'm just sickened that it wasn't America that wrote the Geneva Conventions. I'm
Well-
sickened.
See, the thing is, right? That would imply that we have ever committed war crimes. Even when we committed war crimes, we don't commit war crimes because a prime
That is
example of
true.
Because like
That
a
is
prime
true.
example is the gun that we developed that shot a 20 mm smart grenade.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
So the 20 mm smart grenade weighs 198 grams, which is 2 grams short of being considered ordnance because 200 grams or less is not considered a grenade; it's considered a bullet. So it's 2 grams short of 200 grams, so it's still a bullet, and we're shooting it out of a rifle, and it goes into people, turns them into people's suit. We deployed that gun as an experimental weapon for the Rangers and other special operations units from
I
like
loved it.
2011 to like 2016, 2017 when we quietly retired it. And the entire time our allies were like, America, this is a war crime. And we were like, is it though? Is it a war crime?
I mean, technically, America never really signed on to the Geneva Convention, so we
Yeah.
realistically could do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
But we're just too nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just like
guess those motherfuckers.
one of my favorite examples of that is we wrote the treaty for the non-proliferation of space weapons. You know what we then didn't do with that treaty?
Signed it.
Yeah, because everybody else signed it, including the Russians. And then they were like, "So you're gonna sign it?" We were like,
No.
"Well, see, the thing about that, Chief, is that no, I'm not going to sign it." Like, I'm gonna ignore that I wrote this entire treaty for the rest of you to sign, and I'm just never gonna sign it. And if I weaponize space, sucks to suck. And then everybody else was like, "Well, I'll weaponize space," and we were like, "Cool,
Would you
I would
sign the
like
treaty?
you to meet the F-15. It is 104 and 0, and it will not take out a satellite just for show."
Yeah.
And then 2008 rolled around, and they were like, "But you can't take out satellites anymore." And we were like, "Watch me do it from a fucking surface vessel with a VLS-2."
I'll say, and then we developed big ass fucking tungsten rods that we just dropped from space.
Yeah, and then we just got
Theoretically.
expensive to put them in
Theoretically.
space until recently.
Yeah.
And it became a viable project again. And we
Yeah.
just haven't done it because it's like, yeah, we could put a non-nuclear equivalent of a nuclear weapon in space. But do we need to? Is anyone ever going to threaten us that bad? I mean, literally, like, one of my favorite political talking points that people always mention is, what if we ever have to go to war with, like, China or Russia? And I'm like, well, China's a really easy war to win. Cut up their food supply. Yeah, we control their food supply anyway.
Been saying that since the day since
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, we cut up their food supply, and then we sit back for 6 weeks and watch the country fall apart because every society is 3 square meals a day away from collapse. The second you cut away the 3 square meals a day, society's collapsing within weeks. So China would just be cooked because they're not getting any food from us anymore, and we cut off all their sea trade because we can control the sea lanes. Because, hey, turns out, you're right, having 800 destroyers would be much better for protecting ocean-going trade. But having 11 supercarriers means I own the ocean.
Yep.
With an extra supercarrier in development.
Oh, that's right.
The Enterprise class.
That's right, because we're developing a second-generation Enterprise class because we decided the original Enterprise class that we only built one of was such a good test bed for how to build a modern supercarrier that we decided to bring it back because we want to build a purpose-built drone carrier. Because, reasons, don't ask questions, just accept it. It's like one of my favorite government programs that happened in recent years. I don't know if you guys know about this, but there was a drone we developed in the early 2010s and deployed in the mid 2010s that looks like a miniaturized B-2. That drone is capable of landing on an aircraft carrier. You have not heard or seen a public statement about that drone since about 2015. Do you think they shut that program down, or do you think they just went, we're just not going to talk about it anymore because it's scarily effective, and we don't want our enemies to know?
I'm going with the latter.
Yeah, they just stopped talking about it.
Well, look at the flying Dorito. That's even stealthier than the other flying Dorito.
You mean the
F-47?
We painted it white to give you a fair chance at seeing it, but you still won't see it.
America, baby.
How much of a flex do you think that is to the rest of the world? Like, hey, we painted it bright cloud white, and you still can't see the bitch in the middle of the night.
I just want to point out the simple fact that while America's politics are all kind of fucked up, you don't fuck with us when it comes to like unlawful warfare.
Yeah, no, I mean we are the epitome of fuck around and find out. We just please somebody fuck around so we can help you find out.
Yeah, like that's the thing is that ultimately when it comes down to like politics, sure, politics, but the military still keeps on going.
Yeah, we just with the political side of things, like we really have to figure this shit out, and Republicans need to stop playing kissy kissy with being the high road political party. Otherwise,
At this point, they need to start calling out people on the left about the dumb shit they're doing. They need to start calling them on everything, and like taking the high road and being like principle minded and policy minded is great, but unfortunately, the Democrats are so willing to attack in public, attack on a personal level, and paint you as the bad guy for having ideas that are actually good ideas, while saying that their own ideas are just the best and giving no real examples of how their ideas are better or how their ideas will work. Like AOC and her new Green Deal back in the day, like I was like, what do you mean you want to turn the entire country electric by fucking 2027 and you're gonna fucking put solar panels on every building? Like, why don't we just build a bunch of nuclear reactors that solves the problem? But nuclear reactors bad because Russia doesn't know how to build them, so the rest of the world probably doesn't either.
Russia just failed to boil water, and so everyone got afraid of boiling water.
No,
Yeah.
no, and like I have a friend of mine who works at a nuclear reactor here in the States, and I saw a thing a couple of months ago where a guy on YouTube was like, so there's this new design for nuclear reactors where they build the reactor building and then they build a building around the reactor building. And I stopped and I thought, well, hold on a minute. I'm going to text my friend real quick. Texted my buddy. I asked him like, hey, is this a new design? And he went, I guess if you're not American, I suppose. And I went, oh, that's right. Because we've been building like that since like 1965, haven't we? And he went, yeah, we fucking have. Because that's how you build a civilian nuclear reactor that is not meant to produce military grade anything. You build a reactor building, then you build a building around the reactor building. So if the reactor building and the reactor have any kind of failure, you have another layer of safety to catch any radioactive materials and stop massive gas outs and radioactive leaks. That's why, like, 3 Mile Island, when people were like, oh, 3 Mile Island could have been the American Chernobyl. And I'm like, my guy, there was like a spurt of radioactive gas that, yeah, potentially gave some people slightly higher chances of cancer. But that's it.
It wasn't anywhere near the meltdown of Chernobyl. Because I just recently watched the Chernobyl series, and I also had to write 2 fucking history papers on Chernobyl. Chernobyl was such a clusterfuck of of design and engineering and bureaucracy that America is just not capable of that amount of bureaucracy bullshit. It's just not ingrained in us.
No, because we would never build a nuclear reactor, expect people to run it, and then give them an instruction manual for how to run it with 95% of things crossed out because you can't legally know about it.
I do want to point out it is criminal that Colin is not the one with the animal in the frame. Patriot was the one that had an animal in the frame.
Oh yeah, she's only not in the frame now because she ended up getting back down. Here she is.
Disappointed.
Now he's gonna go get rid of
Okay, now he's gonna grab like one of his 50 animals that he has.
Yeah.
He's gonna grab a bird now.
Hey, I'm trying to help you, Tony. Animals increase interactions.
This is my parrot that has been alive for 30 years.
This
Its
is my
lifespan is 150. He's gonna pull out some like endangered fucking species or some shit.
But yeah,
Meanwhile,
I feel like
staring at
freaking
him.
yeah. Patriot's got like a small ass dog, if we can call it that. I'm not sure if it's like what breed it is.
Yeah, it's a dog. Oh, okay. You don't know what breed it is? Guess.
I don't fucking know. I'm not a breeder. Do I look like I'm a veterinarian?
It's not a pure breed, but it's also not like a mutt. It's just 2 breeds. Well, it is a mutt, but it's not 3 or more breeds.
As long as it's not a fucking Chihuahua.
It's part Chihuahua.
Okay, it's not a fucking dog. All right, so
Well, it's part Chihuahua. It's not a full Chihuahua. What's the other breed in it? Here, this will help you out a little bit.
it's a Chihuahua and a wiener dog. Are you fucking
Yes, it
serious?
is. It's
It's not a
Chihuahua
fucking dog.
Yeah, it's a Chihuahua mixed with a Dachshund.
Not a dog.
I love
Not a
how
dog. Fuck you.
Colin is literally wrangling. Ah, there we go.
Yeah, now we have 2 animals in the frame. Fuck you, Patriot.
I didn't want my dog in the frame. My dog jumped onto me.
I have to say, I don't think he had choice.
Yeah, we got
that I'm in the frame now.
everyone.
Honestly,
Check your playbill. We got Colin playing the part of Steve Irwin tonight.
I was literally just about to make a joke. I was like, "Don't fucking play with me.
Oh, yeah.
I will
Got the bird on
I will
his
Steve Irwin this bitch."
Wasn't me who even pointed out I had an animal here. I was not even acknowledging it. It was Polish who brought it up.
Go top. Go top. Thank you. Good bird.
Yeah, see, I just got the bird and the snake.
Yeah, I will Steve Irwin this bitch. Don't fucking play with me.
He's gonna freaking pull out a crocodile.
One of these days. He's like, guys, look, I have a new pet. It's a little fucking like saltwater croc. And it's
I
just
mean,
like,
to be fair, there are miniature crocs.
There are. We had one when I was like 3 years old.
by the way, Colin, did you ever handle that cichlid problem?
Yeah, it has been thoroughly taken care of.
Good.
Bandit, no.
Do you have enough animals to like qualify your house as a zoo yet?
Yes.
Yeah, what, 2 dogs?
I just don't feel like dealing with the licensing process.
See, this is what the podcast has devolved into. Fuck politics. We're just going to talk about war crimes and birds.
I'll say here.
Why are you hitting me the snake?
What's his name?
Why are you hitting me the snake?
My dog partly has part Mexican and part German origin.
So war crimes.
Yeah, basically.
We're gonna go ahead and deport half of it.
Yeah, hey, no, look, I'm Swedish. I'm like the progenitor of like modern day style war crimes, because without Gustavus Adolphus, modern day warfare would never have been invented, and that motherfucker definitely committed some war crimes, extensive war crimes.
All right, I'll trade you. I got it.
But yeah, no, I mean,
So-
my people have committed extensive numbers of war crimes.
Am I the only one in here who even has a dog?
I do. I have 2.
Oh, you have 2.
I was going to say we have a fucking zookeeper here.
Well, yeah, but I didn't know if he just got, like non-common animals, I guess you can put it.
No, I've got 2 dogs. They're just in their kennels right now because it's fucking 11 o'clock at night.
What breed are they?
They're both husky mixes. One is a husky Great Pyrenees mix. The other is a husky Border Collie mix.
They're both absolutely adorable and fluffy. And,
The husky border collie sounds badass.
Which
Thank
means
you.
its life was hell when they were puppies.
Yeah.
Does your Pyrenees mix constantly try to herd you?
No, the husky Border Collie does though.
Really? My
Yeah.
because I had 2 Pyrenees and they just no, like you try to go one way, they're just like, no, we're gonna lean against you. You're not going this way. It's like I need to go to sink. They're like, no, it's not worth it.
Not to try to
I'm unbelievably terrified of snakes, I'm not going to lie.
She's just printing. She just
I
like
hate them.
That's what I was
she's
saying.
not gonna rip it out or
It's a
anything.
common fear,
Just
though.
gotta clean my beard.
Yeah, no, my husky Border Collie does.
But just to go back to the politics thing, I hope Colin's correct that we're actually going to see a reshifting of the Overton window come 2028.
I'm all
Yeah.
Well-
that's great.
I don't know, man. It's tough, man, because we're the low propensity party now. There's no denying that at this point, and it makes it where it seems if there's not high turnout, if it's not a presidential election, if it's not a general election, then our chances are already pretty low, and that phenomenon is accelerating by the day. It feels.
Well, like
Yeah.
my thing is like when I say that I am always right, it's not a fucking joke. I have quite literally never been wrong.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Oh my god, I gotta get you in the live with fucking Enoch, don't I?
Do not get me in a live with Enoch.
You
But
both
it
know
would
the
be
same thing.
fun.
I'm right about everything.
Getting me in a live with Enoch would be just as disastrous as putting me in a debate with Riot.
I was just about to say that.
My God.
How long do you think that would take for that to escalate into not being a debate?
Yeah, because like
2 minutes.
yeah, because like just like with Riot, right? Riot thinks he knows way more than he really does, and so you would have an actual intellectual versus a pseudo intellectual. With Enoch, Enoch thinks he knows way more than he really does. So you would have a guy that thinks he could be a politician versus the guy who is a politician.
Well, and then Riot's the one who thinks he knows more than he really does, but he needed help from somebody to fill out his ballot. So I mean, that's not exactly the guy who should be discussing politics too much, in my opinion.
Okay, but that situation is a codependency issue.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree.
You shouldn't be the one discussing politics because you don't have enough grasp to make your own decision. Even if you're codependent, you should be able to make your own decision in politics. Like not being able to make your own decision on who to vote for is definitely a sign that you don't understand issues well enough. It's also why I have a big issue with a lot of politicians, just because they talk a lot and talk a lot and talk a lot and don't have any understanding of the issues they talk about. That's why I like when people are like, "Oh, we need to go green," and then they talk about things like solar and wind and all that, and like they're great political talking points. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but if you want to go solar or go for wind, you're going to produce so much greenhouse pollution that all your efforts of going greener will be wasted. Whereas if you say, I don't know, build a nuclear reactor, power on nuclear reactor, and run a nuclear reactor, your want to go green has been solved because your only pollution is going to be boiled water from the coolant towers where they're cooling the radioactive water that's in a closed loop. Because the steam that comes out of a nuclear reactor isn't radioactive; it's just steam. That's it. It's steam from cooling towers, and it's just basic steam. There's no pollutants in it, nothing. And you'll produce enough power that you can make an electric grid that runs electric vehicles, and thus will reduce greenhouse emissions overall. But then those same people also act like America is the great polluter, when realistically speaking, the great polluters are China and India. But nobody wants to talk about that because that's politically sensitive.
I mean, China literally has a fishing fleet you can see from fucking space. So they're literally killing the entirety of the China Sea, and then now they're going to the Japanese Sea. Pretty soon, it's not going to be the Sea Shepherds going after Chinese whalers. It's going to be Japanese whalers. It's going to be Chinese whalers, and it's just going to be a huge issue. I mean, not for nothing, Jack Ciattarelli. To again circle it back tonight, Jack Ciattarelli promised to increase our nuclear footprint, and he still lost. It's absolutely abysmal.
People turned out literally just to spite the president. They didn't turn out based on substance. They didn't turn out based on what each candidate was bringing to the table, what each candidate's electoral goals were. They solely came out and voted to spite the man in office.
Yeah,
fucking embarrassing.
Which is so dumb because, like, I get it. You may not like him personally. That's fine. You don't have to like him personally, but at least learn his policies and what he's trying to accomplish before you try to spite him. Because if you don't learn any of that stuff, you're not actually making an informed decision. You're just being an idiot.
Yeah,
100%.
Like, I very much I believe that everyone should have the right to vote. I'm not against that, but like, we need people to have a minimum level of education and understanding when they vote. And that's why it used to be that only people that owned land and had an investment in the country they lived in were allowed to vote. Because if you don't have any investment in your country, you don't feel like you're getting any benefit from it. Why do you care which way you vote? You're just going to vote whichever way you feel pisses somebody off or spite somebody that you don't like because, well, I don't like them and I don't care what the other effects are. It's just it'll hurt this person that I don't like.
Yeah. And that seems to be the common denominator of what's happening with American politics, at least over the last 8 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Ever since Trump won his first run won his first run at presidency, that's pretty much been the case. They've just been like, well, we're just going to do everything we can to spite Trump and spite the people that voted for Trump, uncaring of the fact that the reason those people voted for Trump is because they got so tired and fed up with people like Obama and a lot of the presidents that came before that made all these promises that said we do all these things and then did none of them. And then I get so annoyed when people are like, oh, Trump is just deported the most people as president. I'm over there like, except Barack Obama deported way more people in both his.
Yeah, not even close. Yeah, he's called the deporter in chief for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
he
like
literally built the fucking concentration camp cages that they
Right.
blame Trump for.
Right. I was like,
Yeah,
that all the
okay.
infrastructure was there well before Trump came into office. Like,
Yeah. It's just this problem with American voters being, I'm sorry to say, radically stupid because most of them are normies and they vote based on personality versus actual substance.
right. And that was fine when you were also voting for, because like Nixon versus Kennedy is the first time people truly voted based on like personality and looks. But at the very least, Kennedy was also he was capable. He actually had the capacity to be president and do the job. He wasn't just he didn't just look good and sound good. He was actually competent. Was he the most competent? Well, no, but he was competent. He was capable of doing the job. A lot of people
I somewhat challenge the idea that 1960 was the first time people voted based on looks, because Warren G. Harding did win solely because of the fact that he was the good-looking guy, and women came out and voted for him just because they thought he was hot.
That is true. Warren G. Harding did win on that. But the reason I specifically call out the Kennedy one is because that was the first time we had televised debates.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time we had
Well,
televised
yeah, because
debates.
everyone who watched the Nixon Kennedy debate thought that Kennedy won, but everyone who listened to it on the radio thought that Nixon won. So
Yeah,
it was because Nixon didn't wear makeup and Kennedy did. So Nixon came off as tired and sluggish, and Kennedy came off as energetic and ready going.
Yep. I mean, that's the literal reason Barack Obama won the presidency, because he came off energetic and like looked like he was youthful and vigorous, and then he was one of the most sluggish presidents we had because barely got anything done, and then kept. I love people that are like, oh, Trump keeps bombing people, and I'm like, at least he's dropping bombs on people from human piloted fucking aircraft. Barack Obama was over there fucking dropping drone strikes on everything from weddings to fucking innocent gatherings of people. At least when Trump does it, we can be like, okay, well, that wasn't intentional. He was actually trying to hit a military target. Barack Obama was like, oh, there's a bunch of people gathered in the Middle East. Fucking send a drone out with a Hellfire missile and slam them with
And
it.
Obama dropped the most bombs by like a significant margin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Wasn't a single year Trump dropped more bombs than Obama did in any of his tenure.
No. And that's why when people are like, oh, Obama was so great, I'm like, yeah, great at dropping bombs, great at deporting people, great at not fulfilling any of the promises he made.
The only promise that he can claim he made and kept was ACA, for the simple fact that he got it passed. But everything that he said to get it passed was an outright lie. I remember vividly, and I think Colin can remember this too. I think everyone here can remember this except for Patriot, is that, prior 2007, we were paying, at most $200 for our health insurance, or even lower. Like, I was a healthy, young high school kid that was in wrestling and football. I had to have a specific set of things that costed my grandmother like $175, right, a month, right, for my health insurance. It skyrocketed to like $600 the minute ACA passed. It was ridiculous.
Well, so that's it. That's the other thing too. Is like it's shit like that actually caused the initial government shutdown over the ACA in 2013. Because when the ACA was passed, that was actually the first government shutdown that we'd had in like 16 years.
Yeah, you're right.
And now we're getting one every fucking 2 years.
Yeah, and like what happened with the ACA initially was that the government shutdown happened specifically because of the fact that at the initial proposition for the ACA not only had the mandate and stuff like that, But also on top of that, there was unlimited spending and funding attached to it, meaning that it was not just unlimited, but it was also unregulated, meaning that they could spend however much money that they wanted, whenever they wanted, however they wanted, and they could just say that it belonged to the ACA without anybody there to actually check that it was going to the ACA. And Republicans said, fuck no.
Yeah.
And they, did a government shutdown over it. And that government shutdown lasted about 16 days before finally they were like, all right, cool, we'll let the ACA pass. But
You're not going to get to black budget it.
yeah, you're not black budgeting this shit.
Yeah.
Like we have enough of a black budget problem with military research spending. We don't need to have another.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, but we don't need another.
Hey,
black
listen,
budget.
I've heard enough. Triple the defense budget.
No, do not.
No. Cut everything.
No, look, we already spend more on defense than even our closest peer competitor. Which,
And we need to spend more.
no. Hold on, let me finish. We need to spend more efficiently because the problem.
Yeah. That's what I think too. I have the same stance. I think the issue isn't as much lack of funding as it is allocation. That's my stance.
Yeah, because like the Army has a stupid allocation method that didn't start getting fixed until recently under Trump's second term, where Hegseth literally came down and said, okay, we're done doing this whole buying old school shit and we're putting like contracts for 10 years out. We need to be adaptive. We need to change quickly and modernize this shit without going and spending. Okay, we're gonna buy this system and it's gonna last us 10 years. And we're gonna put in 10 years worth of orders. Like, no, fuck that. We need to develop things, test them out small scale, see how they work. If they work small scale, scale them up a bit, and see how it keeps functioning. And if it breaks down when we get to large scale, we go back down to medium scale or small scale where it did the best. And we do it on a per need basis. That way we're not wasting money on random shit all the time. Because that's one of the biggest issues with our defense budget is the Army has such a hard time procuring new shit because they're so stuck in the old school procurement system. Like the only reason the Navy does so good on procurement is because during World War II, we had admirals like Willis Ching Lee, who rather than do the whole, I'm going to stamp this with a normal stamp that says it needs to get done quickly, I'm going to go out, I'm going to make a brand new stamp that says some brand new word, like I think it was like urgent or something like that.
Yeah.
And he would stamp everything with that new stamp. And the people had never seen the stamp before, so they were like, well, shit, I just got to go first, and I got to do this now because it says urgent in big red letters on this thing, so it's got to get done now. So they would get it done immediately, and that allowed them to cut through the ordnance requisition board or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
And that's what got rid of that. That's why the ordnance board isn't a thing anymore, because the Navy, by the end of World War II, was like, well, fuck, we don't need the ordnance board. We just need to get shit as we need it and develop shit that we need, and then fucking buy it, build it, and use it, and then keep developing new stuff. Because if we just stay stuck in the old systems, we'll never keep advancing. That's why the Navy is one of our most advanced branches and why they keep developing new shit constantly, because they have this understanding developed from World War II that we need continuous growth and advancement and constantly reallocating the budget to make sure we're actually spending it appropriately rather than just constantly buying shit that doesn't work.
We need more spending.
That sounds, yeah, I was about to say,
We need more
Colin,
spending.
it sounds like there are a bunch of haters in there. Just saying.
It sounds to me like, here's my thing, right? Porque no los dos. Why can't we do both? Why can't we spend more money and make our spending efficient?
Well, you have to do
Just
one
think
before-
about it. We need to be able to fight off the aliens. That's what Space Force is for. You can't deny it.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
There we go.
I mean, I can also say the Space Force is also there so that way when people wonder why enemy satellites start dropping out of the sky, we can point to them and be like, what do you think we made them for?
I'll say they're called Guardians for a reason. Destiny 2, anybody?
Listen, you have your own little personal ghost. I just need my own, you know.
I'll say yes, and his name is Bandit.
Bandit, also, I gotta say, it was cute as shit watching you play tug of war right now with your beard, with the Bandit.
It's actually with my lip, not my beard.
Oh, he's nipping the lip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Bandit is full on attacking his face.
All right, guys. We've been live for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I want to give everyone at the panel a chance to go ahead and shout out whatever they want. And we're going to go ahead and end this.
Okay. Since Colin got here last, I'm gonna let him go first.
Yeah, let the guy that's the most handsome here on the panel go first.
That's not hard to do.
Yeah, I know, right? Follow Air2Mud, Air phonetically, 2 as in the number, Mud phonetically on TikTok, and vote for Colin Atkinson in the 36th Congressional District federally in 2028.
Hey everyone. So, Polish Jersey guy here. This is actually my Twitter handle. Sorry, not Twitter. TikTok handle. Polish _ Jersey _ guy. You can also follow me at Polish Millennial. Also on TikTok. Other social media is pending, but yeah.
All right. My name is Young Patriot. Follow me on TikTok. I have 2 different accounts. Just look up Young Patriot. You'll find them both within seconds. Join the Discord server. You'll see it in the link tree in my bio. Conservative Patriots of TikTok. We'd love to get more people in. And that's really all I got to say. Let's hope Republicans can get their act together.
All right. Anything you want to go ahead and shout out as well, brother?
No.
All right.
I don't.
Well, thank you guys for joining.
Probably need to make some.
Would love to have you guys back on, obviously.
Yeah, he was like a spur of the moment guest. Like he was over here hanging out with me, and then I was like, "Oh shit, I forgot. I need to fucking be up on this podcast."
Hey, look, get him onto the Discord. I would love to actually have him on as a guest as well.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah, send him the invite links. Are you on Discord?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
on Discord.
yeah,
He's on Discord.
Look, I wouldn't be able to play any games with any of my friends or do any of my D&D stuff without Discord. So.
Fair enough.
all right, yeah, get him onto the Discord and give him mine as well. I mean, you guys are basically like the people that I want to have as the rotating host for Tuesday night. So
Sounds good to me.
all
Yep,
right.
love it.
All
I'm
right, well-
probably the only teenager you'll be having on there.
Yeah.
Fucking child. You
Young
can't
ass
even fucking
motherfucker.
drink yet.
Baby.
Doesn't even know what a 2-way is.
Hey, I'll be 20 in a month, okay?
Bro,
month-
fucking 2-way. He doesn't even know what a 3-way is. Although that's probably not fair to Polish. Sorry, man.
Hey, listen. Four ways are where it's at. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
How are you gonna? You don't even know what a 3-way is. How are you gonna talk about
he
4-way?
has orgies. All right. Thank you guys once again for joining. So I'll reach out to each one of you individually to see when you guys are available to go ahead and co-host one-on-one. So
Any
all
day.
right, thank you all for joining.
Bye.
Yeah.